Yo, what's good? I told you I'll be back. I told y'all I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, I caught you. You clicked again. Enjoy it. If you did, that means you gotta subscribe. Come on, gang. Help your brother be the first one to sub. Come on. I'm new. And today we got Maury. They just banned OnlyFans. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds like a heavy W. Primarily because I'm not gonna lie, I just heard a dude lost his house cause he put all his money towards a streamer. And if that's the case, imagine how much money people are putting towards OnlyFans creators. Like, bro, you gotta have loaded pockets, or you're increasingly dumb, incredibly dumb. That's the only two options I'm giving you, Chief. Anyways, I'm not gonna yap your ear off. Let's just get straight into it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So sad day for the unemployed. They're officially banning
For the unemployed.
You heard that right. They are officially banning OnlyFans in the country that's doing this because it's not yet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know America's not doing it, but I hope it does eventually. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't get me wrong. It's been a come up for multiple women. I'm not blaming them for getting it come up. Unless it's one of those ladies I heard was working with underage girls or marketing towards kids. And
know your fucking place, trash.
This, however, could be a massive improvement for a lot of things. Mainly a lot of people's mental health, because niggas gotta go outside and meet people. Like, god damn.
Global is Sweden. Sweden is leading the charge in banning OnlyFans.
Okay,
Well,
Sweden.
Not entirely, but you'll hear the details later. But obviously, before we go any further into the video, be sure to like the video, comment down below, maybe share with your friends.
Shit.
And,
Got
grab
you,
a
got
accordion,
you,
get
got
some
you.
popcorn, sit down and let's listen to the story. Now, according to the New York Post, they say OnlyFans users in Sweden could face.
Hold on, last video got me looking like I can't read. Let me read this. Lock me in. OnlyFans users in Sweden could face prison sentences under a harsh new law that treats buying only treats. New law that treats buying OnlyFans. Let me just play the video, gang. Let me just play the video.
Face prison sentences under a harsh new law that treats buying online X shows the same as paying a prostitute for X. Now, obviously, I'm having to censor certain letters and words because I don't want to get flagged by YouTube.
Oh
which you can
yeah.
pretty much
Oh
understand
yeah.
what I'm trying
Totally
to
understand.
say.
I
For the
totally
people
understand.
who are currently users of OnlyFans who buy content in the country of Sweden, or even if you are outside the country of Sweden but are a Sweden national, resident, or citizen, you could be charged with sex crimes if you buy content from the platform, essentially. And by the way, I hear this doesn't apply to the people making the content, just for the people actually purchasing the content, which is the most dumb thing I've heard all day. But also, it's kind of like this, you're trying to tag.
So you can make it, but you can't sell it. Make that make sense, Chief. Make that make sense. I mean, if you can't sell it, then there's no point in making it to begin with, which I could kind of understand. But still, make both of them illegal. The fuck? If one could get prison time, so should the other.
A drug problem, right? Your entire population is addicted, full of druggies and drug dealers. You then decide to make a law criminalizing buying drugs for the drug addicts. So all the drug addicts, if they're caught with X drug, they're gonna go to prison or cop a felony charge. But as for the people creating these addictive ass drugs and exacerbating the problem, you're giving them a cop out. In fact, you're not even charging them. You're just continuing to allow them to create the drug that got these people addicted in the first place. So like, what the?
Yeah, that's so dumb. That's dumb, yo. Just make both illegal. If you could get jail time for buying weed at one point in time, you could get jail time for selling it at one point in time. That's the way it works. At one point in time, you could go to jail for making booze. You could go to jail for buying booze, aka alcohol. Same shit here. Why are you making the production not illegal, yet you're making the the purchase of it legal. Make that make sense, gang? There's a gap in logic there, gang. Come on, think.
This is the same thing. People buy the OnlyFans, they go to jail. But the people creating the OnlyFans, they get a free pass? How does that make any sense? But they also say the law, which will take effect July 1st, also criminalizes profiting from or promoting others who perform actual acts for payment on demand. So apparently this will be prioritizing sex creators, sex workers on OnlyFans who I suppose live stream and get payments in real time from their viewers. So in a way, these people will be penalized for that specifically. But then an easy loophole around that would just be to not live stream. So you wouldn't get donos in demand. You could just, like, I don't know, upload pre-recorded content and skirt the new law in that way without really getting penalized,
that
or
leaves the
your account getting
loophole.
shut down or whatever. Or you could just simply, if you have the means of doing so, move out of Sweden. I mean, there's plenty of European countries in Europe.
Damn. God damn. America top 3? Shit. Number of annual Google searches per 10,000 people. Motherfuck. God. What the fuck? What the fuck? Also, Australia, what the fuck? Okay.
Aside from Sweden, that you could easily continue to make your content in without having any mishaps. But again, it's really not that serious to me, like in terms of like the OnlyFans, like bro, just go to a new platform or get a fucking job. I don't know, like meanwhile, I'm saying,
Why you smack that in my face like that? Bro. Wait a minute.
mishaps. But again, it's
Why
really
you just-
not that serious to me, like in terms of like the OnlyFans, like bro, just go to a new platform or get a fucking job. I don't know.
Like you just smacked that in my face like out of nowhere. Like, bro, come on. Come on, you can't just smack that in my face.
Like meanwhile, I'm
Pause. Hold on. Pause.
saying get a job when essentially me and OnlyFans creators are doing the same exact things, just in different ways for money, using our bodies to provide entertainment for our viewers in exchange for money. I mean, it's basically the same shit, just you know, I'm not getting my booty hole penetrated. But anyway, they say this is a new form of X purchase, and it's high time we modernize the legislation to include digital platforms such as OnlyFans. And this was a comment made by the Swedish member of parliament Teresa Carvalho said after the bill passed. So the bill passed, like it's not up in the air. They're not still trying to vote on it. It literally passed.
Okay.
And it's going to take effect July 1st. So for any of my Swedish viewers, for anybody who's a Swedish national, resident, or citizen who's a heavy user of OnlyFans, count your days, buddy. It's over. You're done. There's no way out of this, buddy. They also say later in the article that under the new law, it will be illegal to pay someone to carry out a actual act remotely, such as on a live video stream for the specific purpose of that act being viewed
I like
by
your
the buyer.
thinking. I
Which
like
in
your
my
thinking.
opinion is just going too far. That's just too much government control. Like if I want to, you know, pay a little baddie, a little something digitally, remotely to show me them things, I should be able to do so. Like why are you restricting my freedom to see them tatas? To see what that mouth do? Like they really think this law is gonna do anything for anybody who wants to participate in this behavior, bro. Like all you're doing, really, because if they're gonna ban OnlyFans or any of these other platforms like OnlyFans, all you're doing is just pushing this to the black market, like it's always been in, like for thousands of years. This is the oldest profession in history. Women and men are not gonna start participating in their natural-based desires because a fucking law says so. Some old-ass gray-haired politicians who probably do the same thing, who probably engage in the same behavior, are trying trying to now make it into a law because they don't want to solve the root problem. Listen, the root problem isn't sex work. All right, sex work is a part of human history. Literally, the first professions. It's not sex work that's the problem. All right, if we want to talk about the real problem, one of the real problems is the lack of intimacy, both men and women. You know, like actual intimacy, like love and respect and loyalty.
There's a complete lack of it.
Connections.
Yeah, that's my only issue with this. It's not the fact that you're getting the money out of it or the work itself. It's the fact that there's no intimacy behind it. That's why I personally can't go through anything like that, bro. Just saying, me personally. You might be down bad enough, but me could never be me. Could never be me.
Family and all that shit that, humans and men and women have been doing for millennia. Like, these are the things that give, like, people purpose. And, like, now that purpose has kind of been stripped away for a lot of people, they sedate themselves with stuff like OnlyFans and, other forms of vices like drugs and alcohol and, I don't know, popping pills.
But then
like,
that's not good either.
OnlyFans is not.
Yeah, that's not good either, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm down to take part in a little bit of the twisted spirits, but don't overindulge. You gotta find, like, healthier means to do shit like that. For me, it's reading the shit to the books I got. Don't get me wrong. I'm not reaching for it, because the first one I saw was Berserk. That's not a good example. But I do a lot of reading to vet my shit. There's healthier ways. You just gotta find out what works for you, G. You don't gotta drink your ass off. Or lose yourself to corn. That's not what you have to do, bro.
Not the problem, it's a symptom. And that's just the reality of it. And these politicians they fail to see that. They can't see the forest for the trees or the trees for the forest, whatever the phrase is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to take a step back. Instead of putting band-aids on things, instead of fixing things short term, we have to plan for the long term. And I suppose, hey, this is just a patchwork in my opinion. It's not going to really do anything. If OnlyFans goes down, another site will pop up. And if that goes down, that site will, be replaced by another and so on and so forth.
It's never going to end.
This is not effective.
It's never going to end.
And to be honest, I don't care. I just found this story interesting and I know it's not going to work. It's kind of like the 1920s prohibition. They tried to ban alcohol. What did that do? That made literally the mafia billionaires adjusted for inflation. I literally did the research about a week and a half ago. It made them billionaires adjusted for inflation. That's how much money they made on the black market because the government and the politicians thought, oh my God, let's stop people from drinking, something people have been doing in society for thousands of years by banning it. I'm sure that'll work well. We saw how that
wasn't going to work.
It did not. But instead of my yapping, because I know you guys want to hear more of the story.
This
is the politician right here, one of the people who voted on the bill, Carvajalo. She said she's a part of Sweden's left-wing opposition party, which are the Social Democrats over there, and said the law is not aimed at targeting OnlyFans models themselves. So like I said, basically targeting the drug addicts instead of the drug dealers. Kind of dumb, actually very dumb. But hey, it's Sweden. They do a lot of dumb shit over there. She said though, instead,
I don't know what's going on over there.
Protect young people and other individuals vulnerable to exploitation. Yeah, right. Okay, sure, buddy. She pointed to links between. Said though, instead, it will protect young people and other individuals vulnerable to exploitation. Yeah, sure, buddy. She pointed to links between online exploitation and grooming with drug abuse, human trafficking, and prostitution. Yeah, as if OnlyFans was the forefront of that. As if that didn't exist hundreds of years before OnlyFans was even a thing. Okay. The bill was proposed by Swedish parliaments.
Yeah, Playboy, The Hub. I'm not going on to list any other shit because y'all not about to catch me lacking. But yeah, even back in the magazine days where all that shit was popping, there was Playboy magazines. Like, people are gonna find a way to get their fix. This ain't gonna do much.
Justice Committee and received cross-party backing, and then they show a picture of some young lady with her Instagram handle who's supposedly an OnlyFans girl, and they say in Sweden paying for X is already illegal and faces a sentence of up to 1 year in prison. Wow, a lot of people must be in prison. Sweden's sex trafficking laws focus up to 1 year in prison.
In Sweden, paying for sex is already illegal and forces a sentence of up to 1 year in prison. So purchasing somebody to have sex with them, just paying for a prostitute could get you locked up for 1 year? Damn, Sweden's strict as fuck with it.
Wow, a lot of people must be in prison. Sweden's sex trafficking laws focus on punishing the buyers, but not the sex workers. That is retarded, in my opinion. Again, you're punishing the drug addicts instead of the actual drug.
You know, I can understand that in a sense, like if it's prostitution, because then it's like, oh, what's it called? She might be like what's it called? She might be getting forced to do it. She might be stuck in it through the circumstances in the job market. There's a lot of things that could be forcing an individual into prostitution. But like with internet pornography, it's something completely different. I don't see how you get forced into that and it gets put on the internet. I think the person who would have done that would have been locked up, unless that's just on the black market, in which case some sick niggas.
Drug dealers? Does that make any sense? Why not just punish both if that's the case? Literally, make it fair. Punish both. They also say pimping carries a maximum sentence for 4 years in prison. Okay, that's not too bad. This new law cracking down on OnlyFans, 4 years.
4 years? 4 years? Man, slick back would hate in Sweden.
Okay, that's not too bad. This new law cracking down on OnlyFans and other adult sites is similar to the SESTA FOSTA law passed in the US in 2018, President Trump's first term in office, which punished platforms that facilitate sex work. Igit Aiden, activist at the, I'm sorry, this is a weird ass name, but his name is Igit Aiden, activist at the European Ex-Workers Rights Alliance, told this news blog. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much the end of the article. All I gotta say is, listen, you guys already know me. I don't really do the whole like left-leaning thing, the right-leaning thing. I'm not even a libertarian anymore. I just call myself, I'm on my not labeling things journey, and to be honest, I just like err on the side of logic. Logically, in my opinion, this law makes no sense if you're gonna be punishing one side and not the other side. Literally, it would be more effective if you're gonna go after the creators of said drug or content. Although they do have a caveat saying that they're gonna find people or punish them if they're like a creator live streaming said content, but then again, you just don't have to live stream. But again, logically, to me, OnlyFans is a relatively new invention. Sex work has been happening for thousands of years. The supposed exploitation of young people in sex work has been happening for thousands of years. I mean, brothels have been here for thousands of years. It's ingrained in our culture. Do I think it's right or wrong? Absolutely not. The only wrong I see in these types.
Hold on. There's a fly. Damn, I ain't catch him.
So work is if you're doing it against your will, like you're legitimately being pimped out, gun to the back of your head, like bruh, like that type of shit, like you're a slave essentially. But for the vast majority of like sex work where it's just like random people, women and shit, you know, just trying to make a quick buck consensually, men that I guess they want money from, I really couldn't give a fuck less. But if they want to, you know, punish those men, they gotta punish the women too. Like, gotta keep it fair. Or the men with men and the women with women, or whatever fucking you know, identities or genders your specific service caters to. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below about this entire story. Sweden, one of the first countries that's going to be banning OnlyFans. That's interesting. But yeah, do let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, hope you guys found this informative. And until next time, everybody, stay safe out there.
Hey man, that was really informative. I'm not gonna lie, Sweden being the first country to outright ban OnlyFans is surprising to me, but with how the video says it and what the article says, they tend to crack down on this shit pretty hard, so I can understand it to an extent. But why would you, like Maury said, why would you go after the buyer and not the seller? That's just something that doesn't make sense. That's basically punishing somebody for purchasing something, while the person who could have possibly threatened or manipulated or coerced them into that purchase gets away scot-free. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to an extent. I understand for like protecting people in certain circumstances, but like that protects people that aren't in those circumstances, and that just seems like a dickhead way to go about it, in my personal opinion. I don't know how to run a whole ass country, so don't look at me, nigga. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna see y'all in the next vid. Peace.